In the heart of mid-1980s Los Angeles, a sinister presence lurked in the shadows, striking fear into the hearts of residents. Richard Ramirez, a man whose very name would become synonymous with terror, embarked on a heinous spree of home invasions, rapes, and murders that shook the city to its core. It was a hot summer night when Ramirez targeted the quiet suburban neighborhood of Hillside. The air was heavy with tension as he prowled the streets, searching for his next victim. An unsuspecting couple, James and Sarah Thompson, were about to become entangled in a nightmarish ordeal they would never forget. James Thompson, a hardworking man with a heart of gold, and Sarah Thompson, his devoted wife, had just settled into their home after a long day. Little did they know that their peaceful evening would be shattered by an evil force. As the clock struck midnight, Ramirez's dark silhouette appeared at their doorstep. Unbeknownst to the Thompsons, Ramirez had been watching them for days, obsessing over their every move. His twisted mind had already devised a diabolical plan to subject them to unspeakable horrors. The couple's lives were about to take a turn into a harrowing descent of terror. Ramirez's gloved hand quietly turned the doorknob, and the front door creaked open, signaling his malevolent entry. The Thompsons lay sound asleep, blissfully unaware of the malevolence that had infiltrated their sanctuary. Ramirez slipped inside like a phantom, his eyes gleaming with sadistic pleasure. As he tiptoed through the house, Ramirez reveled in the darkness that enveloped him. The smell of fear mingled with the stale air, his heart pounding with anticipation. With stealth and precision, he approached the Thompsons' bedroom, his intentions as black as night. James stirred from his slumber, a sense of unease prickling his senses. A shadowy figure loomed over him, and before he could react, Ramirez struck. The room erupted into chaos as James fought for his life, desperately trying to protect his beloved Sarah from the clutches of their intruder. In a flurry of violence, Ramirez overpowered James, rendering him helpless. Sarah's screams echoed through the house, fueling Ramirez's twisted desires. He reveled in the terror he inflicted upon the couple, savoring every moment of their agony. For what felt like an eternity, Ramirez subjected the Thompsons to a horrifying ordeal. His sadistic acts left scars that would never heal, both physically and emotionally. The once peaceful home now bore the marks of a nightmare, tainted forever by the evil that had consumed it. As Richard Ramirez continued his reign of terror, the details of his horrifying crimes sent shockwaves throughout the city. In his relentless pursuit of violence, Ramirez reveled in the sadistic rituals he imposed on his victims, leaving a trail of brutality and despair in his wake. In the case of the Thompsons, Ramirez's depravity knew no bounds. After subduing James, he turned his attention to Sarah, who was now paralyzed with fear. With a sinister grin on his face, Ramirez taunted her, relishing in her helplessness. He proceeded to bind Sarah, using tightly knotted ropes that dug into her flesh, leaving deep marks that would forever bear witness to her torment. Ramirez's voice dripped with menace as he whispered sinister promises of pain and suffering into her ear, shattering her spirit and instilling a paralyzing dread that would haunt her for the rest of her life. What followed was a nightmarish ordeal of unspeakable acts. Ramirez subjected Sarah to unimaginable physical and psychological torture, using her as an object to satiate his darkest desires. Every scream that tore from her throat only fueled his sadistic pleasure, echoing through the house as a chilling symphony of agony. He delighted in leaving permanent reminders of his presence, brandishing his signature pentagram symbol on the walls, a grotesque testament to his evil. Ramirez reveled in the chaos and destruction he left behind, an artist of terror, forever altering the sanctuary the Thompsons once called home. Eventually, the nightmarish ordeal came to an end as Ramirez vanished into the night, leaving Sarah battered, broken, and scarred. The Thompsons' lives had been irrevocably shattered, their innocence ripped away by the twisted actions of a monster. In the aftermath of the attack, the Thompsons' wounds extended far beyond the physical. The psychological trauma seeped deep into their souls, casting a perpetual shadow of fear and distrust over their lives. Nightmares plagued their sleep, and the slightest noise sent them spiraling into paralyzing panic. The city, gripped by fear, rallied together, their collective horror fueling a determination to bring Ramirez to justice. Yet, the scars left behind by Ramirez's actions would forever linger, reminding them of the fragility of their safety and the darkness that lurked within the human heart. Decades later, the Thompsons continued to bear the burden of their encounter with evil. haunted by the memories of that fateful night. Their lives were forever intertwined with the chilling tale of Richard Ramirez, a chilling reminder that true horror could manifest in the most intimate of places, leaving an indelible mark on those unfortunate enough to cross its path.